What do you do when you're DMing and you need a cool random encounter or a one-shot? I may just have a solution for you this week on Short Rest Studios. Hey there, adventurers. Welcome to another episode of Short Rest Studios. My name is Judd, and this week we're talking about Adventure a Week's Mini-Dungeons. Some great short encounters, one-shot adventures that might just work for you if you're DMing a long campaign and you need some different kind of random encounters, or if you need a one-shot to be filler between big chapters. Adventure a Week, or AAW Games, is a third-party 5e publisher, and I'm going to put a link to their website in the description below so you can check out some of their content. But one of the things that they offer is this thing called a mini-dungeon, and they serve as filler adventures in a campaign, or if you just want to play a one-shot with your friends, or even as random encounters throughout the course of a longer campaign. According to AAW's website, these mini-dungeons are short, setting-agnostic adventures that can be fit into any campaign. They come with a PDF of the adventure and GM and player maps, so you can use them on Foundry or wherever you're using online maps if you're going that route. I took a look at two of these mini dungeon adventures, which, full disclosure, I got them a free online a while back because they do offer free ones, I think, all the time. There's always at least one that's free, and you don't even have to purchase it. But in general, I mean, if you want to buy an individual one, they're, I think, 99 cents. So they're worth checking out just for the price alone. One is called Bloodsuckers, and one is called Icebreaker. Now, Bloodsuckers is pretty much what you would expect from the name, right? It's a vampire story. In Bloodsuckers, your party is called on to investigate the death of Countess Carmilla Mora and her apparent rise from the grave. And in Icebreakers, there's a group of dwarf miners who have disappeared, and you have to go to their mine and figure out what happened to them. And both of these adventures have an element of mystery. The first one, obviously, is a little more gothic horror, and it has that vampire, at least facade. The mystery element reveals as you're playing that it's not really about vampires. It's definitely more gothic horror, obviously. And then Icebreakers is more straight up fantasy, just bashing some monsters. All right, so let's dig into the pros and cons. First, the pros. These adventures are really inexpensive. I talked about that before, but I mean, 99 cents for an individual adventure, and they really probably will work great in just about any setting as a one-shot or random encounter. I also mentioned earlier there are multiple purchase options. That's another pro. I mean, you can buy them individually, you can buy them in a bundle, and I think most of the bundles run around $10. You can buy the Mini Dungeon Monthly, which contains 5 brand new Mini Dungeons, and I think it runs about $10 also. And then, of course, there's the tome that's available, and they have a Kickstarter up now for a new tome of Mini Dungeons. So there are a lot of great options for purchasing these, and they're pretty affordable. The next pro is that these are pretty well designed. I wouldn't worry too much about having to change stuff, and they're pretty straightforward on this is the level of characters that these are intended for, and this is how big a party this is intended for. So as long as you fit within that, you won't even have to redesign anything. But if your party's a little bigger or smaller, or you want to use a lower level party or something like that, you know, obviously, as with anything, you'll have to redesign it a little bit. But they're pretty well designed, and they're short, and they're right to the point. So these are really straightforward, simple stories that are really easy to pick up as a DM or a GM and just jump into it with very little preparation. So a great idea for some filler or a random encounter during a longer campaign. Another pro, these are definitely playable in one session. Like I said, they're short. Definitely going to get done with it in one session, unless you got one of those guys that really wants to dwell on one tiny rule for an hour. One of the other pros is that they come with player and GM maps and VTT maps. And I mean, to me, that seems pretty much like a no-brainer to include that kind of thing, but it is a good thing that they come with them. Another pro, the artwork is good. It's not fantastic, but it's good. The artwork in Bloodsuckers is functional, you know, it works, but I actually thought the artwork in Icebreaker was kind of fun. It's a little more cartoony, and I don't know, also has a little more epic feel to it than the stuff in Bloodsuckers. But I also want to keep in mind that Bloodsuckers is an older mini dungeon, and Icebreaker is a newer adventure than that. And so they've obviously added and changed some stylistic things to those. Both of them had a mystery at their core, which I think is great. It looks like one thing on the face, but it's actually something else. And I think that's good. Like, it's not just, oh, there's these monsters, let's kill them. It's a little bit more involved in that, but not so involved that you're not going to be able to just jump in and use it during a larger campaign. Another pro, they're not super unique monsters that you're battling in here, but they're not just the run-of-the-mill regular fantasy stuff. I mean, they work thematically with the adventure, and they're interesting enough that it won't just feel like, oh, we're fighting another owlbear or another company of goblins. And the last pro was a small thing, and Bloodsuckers didn't have this one, but Icebreaker did, and I believe it's something that they include in their newer mini-dungeons, but it just has this nice little graphic key with icons and color coding that tells you what level, how many players, and what type of setting that particular mini-dungeon is intended for. So you can just kind of look at it quickly and know, hey, this will work for what I'm doing. Real quick, if you're enjoying this video, if you're getting something out of it, I would really appreciate it if you would hit the like button down below and hit the battle axe to subscribe to this channel so you can keep up with what I'm talking about and what I'm doing here on Short Rest Studios. Thank you so much. Now, on to the cons. And as usual, I feel like I'm kind of fishing for cons here. These are cons, but they're not so bad. First, there's nothing really profound in the story of either of these adventures. There's a decent mystery, there's fairly interesting monsters, but really, what more do you need? You're talking about something that's intended to be a one-shot or a random encounter, and so you want to be able to fit it into an existing campaign and not be the center of attention, but still be interesting enough that it's fun and different, right? And so, like I said, there's nothing profound, but that kind of works in favor of this particular design. Another is that the maps seem a bit basic. I mean, even for the intended purpose, the maps seem a little bit basic, especially Icebreaker. It's really just a tower on one end and a field of boulders, and you know, it could have been a little more interesting, I think, and still maintained the necessary simplicity to serve its function, right? There's a very limited number of encounters in both of these. Like I said, this con is not so bad because the intention is for it to be dropped into an existing campaign. This is not going to be the center of your story. But if you're hoping for something that has a few more bad guys, it's really pretty short on them. But again, I think this works in its favor. So what's my conclusion? I like these for what they are. I think they're fun little filler adventures. They're straightforward, well-designed, easy to follow. You don't have to do a lot of prep to drop one of these into your campaign. They're designed to be quick and easy random encounters or filler one-shots, and I think they work great for that purpose. The simplicity really allows you to adjust them to your particular game. And so despite the not-so-bad cons, and in fact, actually because of those cons, they work well for the purpose they're designed for. I think they're definitely worth spending 99 cents to go grab one or download one of the free ones that's available. Adventurers, thank you for joining me for another episode of Short Rest Studios. Remember to hit that like button and hit the battle axe to subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time on Short Rest Studios.